Okay, guys, here we go. So this is the companion video to the training video where I discuss everything. This is about this is going to be more about movement and positioning a lot, and kind of showing all those kind of concepts that I was showing you or talking about in action, right? So there's a number of things I want to point out, and I'm going to take this really slow on some of these. Near the end, I'll show you a lot quicker stuff, but I'll get through the last videos really quick, but because they don't really require a whole lot of focus. But some of this stuff is pretty good to hear and see in action. So here's an unholy feast going through this gate that I used a minute ago. We were calling for damage on that. Be aware that you can do that. That's probably the only skill. Well, I mean, a lot of your skills will do it, but they're just half circles through it, right? This one, actually, you can get close, and it will hit guys back. Pretty decent range back there. It is, and it's coming back off cooldown. I know these guys are over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with that. And I'm not even bothering to look at them, and it's gonna burst too, so that's triggering. You don't have to be looking. It's radius around you, right? Here's a Spellbreaker. I'm gonna point this out. Spellbreakers are extremely hard to kill. You are not really going to be able to do it most of the time. The only way you can really do it is to auto them for a while, and as you can see, he's in one of his stances. He's getting healed for each attack, I think is what's going on here. And so, we're not going to get this guy. You can sit there and auto and wait for him to get done with all his stances, which could be like 12 seconds later or something like that. And then you can finally do this, but really, I'm just kind of looking at him. I was thinking about it, but clearly I'm not going to get him, so I just abandoned the whole Focus 5 axe combo. Alright, at this point, you can see RX and CBO, we have 50 people, they are very much outnumbered. We've got Beer up here on the wall too, and they're going to be involved as well, hitting their back line a lot. And, these guys are in really, this is kind of hopelessly outnumbered. I think they might manage to kill us eventually, but it takes a while. I'm gonna go in here and anyway, we've got it down. I'm probably gonna go forward and try and res, but he's already up. And maybe that's why I'm distracted and not in Scepter, but I don't really have a good excuse. I'm not in Scepter. I should be in Scepter at this point. I'm also gonna be focusing on throwing out shades and get them on the battlefield, which is really kind of what I'm aiming for. And clearly that's what I was thinking at this time, so. I'm pulling back out of damage, and then I'm going to go and follow down and around. I'm basically skirting this. And then he's going to do a well call. And honestly, starting with 3s on this and then swapping to the other one is fine. This is so cloudy, you're going to see that this isn't really tight on the rotation at all. When you're up against a much tighter group, you're going to see a much, I will be sticking much closer to the rotation, but this is so sloppy and so loose. And I think you learn more from seeing this that, the improvisation of not really sticking to the rotation, because you're better off throwing one of these. You're better off throwing one of these. You're better off getting off that kind of standard rotation just because nobody's really going to be standing in anything. And as you can see, we just did Wells right here, and it's not really doing much. At this point, I just blew Shades because I already had 2 out, and that's really what I was thinking when I came in here, and that's what I was focused on. You did see me get the 3 in there immediately and then I go into the Shades. This is a priority over, after that instead of Shades. But I was definitely looking to get some Shades out there and blow them while I still had some back here. And I did clip at least one of these guys. I saw some numbers pop a second ago. Anyway, going back, I'm axe 2ing because I'm trying to get Life Force back, but I'm kind of facing the wrong way, so this doesn't work. And then, which that's pretty common for me. Even if it's time to swap, I will do that X2 trying to get that Life Force back right after Shade Bomb. And then I'm going to Barrier right away because we are regrouping. And you're going to see me doing this repeatedly all the way through. You are also support, right? The reason you do that is because when we regroup in a spot, we're basically a sitting target for a second, and everybody's all around, all the wall people, the pew-pewers, and everybody's going to start focusing in on us. And that means we're about to take damage, which makes this a perfect time. Plus, everybody's getting back to tag. If they're low on health, this is going to help to give barrier to them and absorb some hits before the healers get a chance to help them out, to take care of their actual health. And this also then, anything coming in right after that it's going to absorb that before we go out. This is absolutely the perfect time is on regroup, and that's pretty much when I use it. And as you can see, it did its job. It ate a bunch of damage. So that's what it's supposed to be doing. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. At this point, I do have small shades ready. I look like I'm going to forgo that for the fillers, other filler skills. Like, all this is kind of filler to me. So, got myself a firebrand, but all I really have is auto because I'm waiting on cooldown here. And anyway, I give up on him because there's a group back behind us, and we're going to focus in on that. I try the Scepter 3, it gets blocked, it sucks. That's kind of how it goes. Swap into 3 again, so there's that rotation, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. You might interrupt for something else, but then you're back into 3, 3, 3, 3 all the time. 3, swap, 3, swap, 3, swap. So here we are. I'm going to go for this guy, because he's targeting, we're actually being called to actively go after these guys. So here's a focus 5. He's going to evade that with a dodge. And I'm going to catch him as he's rolling off this edge. Whack, 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 whack. That's an axe 2. Gets up to like 8.7 or something like that. He's down. Now, this is my job. I want to be focusing this, but all I really have is auto attacks. And if we had 1 or 2 other people doing that, we wouldn't have had a problem here. He would have been gone. But these guys are coming in, and we are being called. Our attention is being pulled to that. You can see me running along the edge here, trying to do this. It's not working. I don't have enough damage, and nobody else is helping me on this one. So, but we are definitely, this is the thing I need to be focused on. And I'm about to switch to that exactly. Messing with shades, getting that. Gonna do 3 pretty soon, I think. Maybe there it goes, and I'll probably axe 2 because I just blew shades and I want my life force back. So I'm really kind of camping this. This has a lot to do with the fact that it's so cloudy here. So, you can see there's still some degree of rotation, but I'm definitely focusing in on guys. As you can see, there's an axe 2. Life force back, mainly as much from the people dying around as from that axe 2, but certainly that did its job. And I got a firebrand here. I'm gonna throw a focus 5 at him, it looks like, and he's gonna get out of the angle of it, so it's not gonna work. And oh well. You do have to kind of be focused in the right angle, and now at this point, I know I'm doing range. As we pull back, I'm covering the back, I'm bombing into that, and I see that we've got a cluster of downs, so I am absolutely focusing in on these downs with range AoEs. These are the filler skills again. I could throw a shade on top of that. I probably will, maybe. Yep, there it goes. But I don't bother blasting it. I do a strip, it looks like. And I'm going to keep my utility here, which is going to throw me off a little bit. I'm a little behind, but that was a good time to do that. So, bubbles out, wells out, right on call right now. I've got a firebrand in my sight. I don't know if I'm going to stay on him. Looks like we got him down, so I'm going to stop paying attention. Directly into Devouring Darkness, which hit already. And then I'm going to interrupt the rotation a bit and go for a breach. This probably wasn't the best call. I probably should have done the rotation, but I'm not getting a lot of opportunities to do breaches at this point. So because they're so cloudy and they're getting the hell away, and they're doing that right now, so they're going to take off this way. And I think I was also probably expecting Cloud to continue, but he's going to pause here, which is going to put me out of position. I don't want to be over here. This is definitely Pew Pew Central over in this direction, and they're literally everywhere, and this is way too far off tech. So I'm going to try and get back right away, and I'm worried about that, so clearly I'm dropping Trail of Anguish for that. But if I had been looking at Stab, I would have known I don't need to do that at all. But I did it, just defensively pretty much. This is not really an offensive trail. So I'm just trying to make sure I get back because I know I'm off tag because I went out for the breach. Breach is going to go off, and now I'm going to zip through past the tag with the intention of trying to hit people with the trail. So at this point now I'm turning it into an offensive thing. I'm going to barrier up because we are in stack, and this is regroup time. Perfect time to do it. I'm a little out ahead of tag, but, I'm still trying to get that trail out there onto the battlefield as much as possible, and you can see the lines here. And that's pretty much wearing off, so now I'm on to next thing, which is Shades. And you can see loose rotation. In this case, normally I would have probably gone with Scepter 3, but I'm trying to catch them with the cripple. They are going right, and they're going to get out of it anyway. But I am going to do a Devouring Darkness right behind that, which is right. Boom. Weapon swap. Move forward. Boom, with 3 again. 3 to 3, and this is definitely going to catch some people. We're getting a good hit on them with this. I'm moving forward of the tag just to make sure I kind of clip these guys with it, as many as possible, and that is going to work. Immediately into Focus 5. It's for 7.9. This guy's done. Gonna axe to him, it looks like, and that is pretty much going to be him. And since we're going to cross this, he's done, right? So this is exactly how you want to be playing this. 3-3, 5-2 is pretty much as good as it's going to get on like that. Picking a target out of that, and it doesn't really matter which one, and just nail them and finish them. And this guy probably didn't know what hit him. So there you go. That's kind of how you roll this. I guess I can keep on going. There's not a whole lot of time left here. Clearly I'm going for shade. I don't know what I'm doing here. It looks like I'm throwing a shade out. Anyway, going for an axe 2, I guess. Should probably pay more attention to what I'm looking at. Anyway, I'm taking some damage, and really this is a good time for the barrier anyway, because we're re-grieving, so I am. Anyway, you get the picture. So it's kind of that sort of thing over and over again. That's a very loose rotation, but the rotation is there, and you can see it. And that is what you want to be doing. And you definitely want to be picking people out there. You want to keep the wells on calls, etc., etc. Look for opportunities for breaches. That was the best one I could find, so I did it. And there you go. So, all right, wall play, everybody's least favorite part of the game. You don't really, as a Scourge, have anything you can really do on this. I've already explained all this. I'm not going to get too into details on it. This is really showing you an example of what you are supposed to be doing. This is not about killing people. You don't have any real ability to do that. You absolutely should not be throwing wells on walls. There's really no point in breaching at your feet. And the same is really true of this one. This is really not a skill you want to be using. It's just too good in melee. I'm pretty sure I am traded this night maybe on that. I don't remember. Anyway, for the strips, if I am, I definitely don't want to do it. But here's what happens. This guy, this brew guy, I was watching him over here. It is part of your duty, not necessarily to be watching exactly where the commander's pointing, but to just keep people away. You don't have the damage to really spike on those wall pulls like everybody else does. As you can see, pretty much every other DPS class is going to do well, whereas the Scourges aren't. So I am going to just go after this guy. He is dumb enough. He is a new guy, bronze. He has not quite learned the lesson of, hey, there's really no point to doing what he's about to do. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to hit him with a Scepter 3 because he got on the edge. Bang, hits him, hits the 2 guys behind him. They're all going to start getting torment on them, as you see. And, and apparently bleeds too, or whatever the hell this all does. I don't care about the condies. Anyway, I throw shade on top of it just to keep scaring him off. He is out for a while. I've done my job. He's no longer going to be harassing us for a while. So I turn around and just leave. There's no point in trying to chase him. There's no way to kill him. He's just got to stand back there and wait to get his health back. He might just run away for a while and get out of combat and then whatever. And that's good enough for me. That's all I'm really after. So now back to wall pulls. And as you can see, pretty much every Scourge in this squad is going to be doing what they're supposed to be doing pretty well through all this. They are throwing out, barriers. Here's Plains doing his. This is from his barrier. You're going to see that with all the parties pretty much all the way across the board. PUGS is very good about doing this. Good job, guys. This is how you're supposed to be playing it. You can be throwing stuff up. You're going to see me throw one off. Like, here's the pole. This is pretty much over. I'm going to throw over here just to push people back and maybe clip anybody who thinks they can get close, which it is. It's going to hit that guy. Meanwhile, our scrapper over here, our bronze major's brew guy, is still back there licking his wounds. Cool. And at this point, looks like he's starting to heal up a little. And I haven't bothered targeting anyone else. I am glancing over at him, see if he's being dumb enough to come up. Sometimes these guys they just really want to shoot down at you, right? So even with like half health, they'll just come back, and it's like, okay, now I'll kill you, right? But anyway, so here we go. This is this, and at this point, first of all, I have still been doing this on and off. As soon as you start noticing you're in narrow fire, you should start doing this. But at this point, I've noticed that Poochie is, or I'm about to notice anyway, that Poochie is melting right here, and I'm gonna flip out, stop paying attention to whatever we're doing up here, and snap my camera down. I'm gonna throw a shade at our feet and throw F3 to give her barrier, which she gets, and it's pretty much gonna go away right away. 7 gets it 2. You're only ever gonna hit 4 of 5 doing that, which is good enough. It's kind of round robin. It's not worth throwing multiple shades at your feet. It's just not. I mean, I suppose you could if it's a real dire situation. And in that same situation, you could be doing this too, but this is kind of a waste. It's 30-second cooldown. It sucks. Anyway, it's this one, and you kind of want to start rotating through, especially if you notice we're taking damage or tons and tons of arrow card fire. So from here on out, and as you can see, like everybody else is doing the same thing, right? You'll see four barriers of 4 go off. You'll see barriers of 5 go off. Everybody's pretty much got this down. They are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and that is awesome. Meanwhile, throw some shit up here. This came off cooldown, and bam, I threw it again. I'm gonna wait a minute. I'm not overlapping that with this. I get focused on this for a second. Planes goes down. We res. And now I'm rotating that in again. There's the barrier. 4 or 5, everybody's on party, or on tag. We'll focus up on that for a little while, start doing a little damage. I see these guys over here, but I'm not going to get off tag because it's too hot. Barrier immediately, off cooldown. I mean, right now our party's fine, so I'm not too concerned. But like I said, you can literally see, Psycho's doing this, Devious is doing this, like pretty much everyone's on doing what they're supposed to be doing. So here, so you hear Psycho hitting 4 or 5, so and he might have caught 5, so maybe someone was just off tag or whatever. Anyway, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Everybody is. So, and this point, Cloud notices the Brew guys over here, and our Scrapper or NG has got his friend with him now, along with 2 others, and they're all gonna die right here. They did not learn our lesson. Here he is, right here. Goodbye. One day he'll figure it out. So we walk over here, throw 1 at our feet, and here's wall 9%, which I was clicking on, no doubt, on purpose to see how close we were to getting in. And at this point, I want my barrier back. I don't know why I threw that. Probably an accident. And at this point, oh no, it's a longer cooldown, so that was a 1 wall thing. Going for this, and I'm going to axe the wall before it goes down. It's at 5%. And it's going to be 1% here, and yep, there goes. So I'm clearly out to get my life force back before we go in, because I don't know if there's a squad waiting for us over here, and we're going to start welling and doing the whole bomb rotations and all that shit. So I want my life force back to full, or as close as possible, and you can see it did just that. There you go. Moving forward. Positioning and movement. This is a pretty decent one for this. It kind of, and it's got some strategy stuff in here. Movement has a lot to do with understanding kind of what's going on the battlefield, so I'm going to give you a little of that too. Also, I kind of chose this clip because it's funny, but really, my movement here, this is nothing extraordinary. This is always what I'm doing. This is always what I'm after. I'm basically 300 behind the commander, and the commander is always in between me and the enemy Zerg, so there you have it. In this case, we see that this is going to be a spike. Void and Evil are over here, by the way. I think it's a Void commanding. Void is a very aggressive commander, and he might well push in, which is why you're going to see me throw 2 shades in a row in a second. And on top of that, we've been fighting them all night, and we've been pretty much getting wiped by them most of the time. We won a few, but they're definitely getting the better of us this night. So this is that scenario where I'm just getting the fuck out of there. Not even bothering to dodge, I don't think, because I am out of combat and I get back fast enough out of these circles, so I don't even have to dodge. I just run backward. And you can't really see this on action cam, but my tune is turned around, and it's not a problem. So now I'm definitely in combat, so I am backpedaling, and this is the slow way, but I'm trying to position around behind him. All right, talking strategy. Here's the wall. What you'll hear people talk about is creating artificial chokes on occasion. They'll talk about it usually with regards to warriors' bubbles, or domes, whatever they're being called, winds of disenchantment, winds, all those are the same thing. It's a warrior dome, a bubble that goes up, and it's pretty obvious when it happens. And commanders don't want to stand in it because it strips boons and it prevents incoming boons from happening. So like nobody really wants to be in a bubble. The result is if a bubble had gone up right here, you would have been creating a artificial choke, right? And people talk about it with the bubbles all the time, but they don't really talk about it with damage, and damage does the exact same thing. Here's this line of damage, both ours and theirs. I've got my shades out, they're seeing shades, and now we've created this choke point between the wall and the damage, which both commander can choose to go through if they want. In this case, both commanders are going to say, no, I don't want a piece of that, and they're going to back off. Sometimes what's going on is the idea of baiting out damage. They're trying to get our damage out there. They're trying to waste damage like big things like Wells, so they'll fake push in, and then they pull back. So that's kind of this little 1200 game that's going on here, but it's pretty predictable that at some point soon, like Void is not going to do this all night. They're going to do this real soon, either right now or on the next try. And so I'm throwing shade out in front of them just to kind of give them a warning. It's not really meant to be effective, and I would not bomb them at this point anyway. I think I was thinking that with this, that maybe I would, but you don't get the strips when you do that, so it's not so great. Really melee thing, right? But this is really just about putting out warnings, and these things come back fast enough that it's not a problem. Anyway, here's positioning again. I don't want to be back in this corner. I want to be kind of able to go this way, so I'm over here on the right. There is a roads here. I'm not sure if I'm going to stand in it or not. I think I'm going to ignore it. I got plenty of stats, so it's not really an issue at the moment. So the idea is this is positioning because I know what the battlefield is looking like, and I'm not going to dodge that way. There's a divot back here. I don't really want to go there. And there is this choke point that they might come through. It looks like they're backing off, so not really a big deal where I'm standing at this point. But probably we're going to circle around, and this is exactly what's going to happen. Notice, though, that I am trying to stay with Commander, and I'm trying to keep him in front of me at all times, even if I'm standing off slightly to the side, which is really more about predicting what's going to happen next. Which can be wrong. But the more you play the game, the more you'll start seeing this stuff, and you'll kind of pick up on it, right? Even if it just becomes instinct and you don't really know why about like artificial chokes and talking strategy like that and whatever, like you'll still kind of instinctually know that, hey, they're probably going to push this way or they're going to push this way or whatever, and you kind of get that idea, right? So where should I be standing? And it's opposite that. So anyway, we're gonna go res, blah blah blah. And you'll see me. I'm gonna get right on tag. He's gonna move forward. I'm gonna move up to that spot. At this range, I want to be right on tag. We're out of danger range, but once we get into kind of melee or 1200 range or whatever, I want to be 300 behind him and no more, which is why I want to start right on tag. Because the moment he moves out, then I can move out right behind him. So here he's moving up. I'm going to move up to the exact same spot, and then as I'm doing that, he's going to take off. So I'm pausing here because of that. And now I'm going to take off right with him, which I'm really, really close. In fact, I feel really close, so you see me kind of holding. 150 is probably too close for a Scourge. 300 is pretty good. But here I am. I'm kind of moving into spike range a little bit. I'm thinking we're going to do that, but they're going to bail and start coming at us, and so I get worried, and I'm just out of there. And now I'm going to probably throw some shades in there or whatever. You can see me still out of combat, just running back, not really worrying about dodging. A lot of damage is going to, or somebody's going to get really deep. One of their guys is going to get really deep, throw some damage way the hell out here, and I'm just going to walk around it. Just to stay out of combat so I can keep moving fast, right? So, again, artificial choke, it's wider this time. And they are going to do it this time. Evil is coming. They're going right through it. They're taking a bail. Evil and Void, sorry. At this point, and this is actually a pretty good thing. So because it's so wide, there's a wider, and maybe this is actually what Void was thinking when they kind of went out further this time to try and create this, so they could get around and do what they're doing right now, which is to very much skirt this very edge of this wall. And this way, for instance, this road is going to miss, and God knows how much other stuff is going to miss, because this is kind of a wider choke now. It's not even really too much of a choke. But it is the path they're going to take to come to us, and they are going to skirt this damage. This is important in things like for you in terms of like SMC. Not so much of them coming at us, other than, hey, maybe you should throw your roads this way, which somebody's about to do, I think. As you can see, boom, that one actually clips really good, and gets right into them. But in SMC fights, and you can see commanders that are really good at this. And I have a enormous amount of respect for their ability to take a 20-man squad and dodge damage, largely just by skirting walls, second floor, going up those the stairs or whatever you want to call that, and then going around those pillars and dancing around that stuff. Really delicate movements, and it just avoids so much damage. And these 20-man squads can stay alive because they've got good support in there, and they're able to just stay out of the damage. Like I really respect that ability. And you are seeing Void basically do the exact same thing. They tend to run small, they tend to run 20, and clearly this guy knows what he's doing with that in regards to that. So he is skirting that wall, and he's going to miss a lot of the damage because of that. Or we are going to miss a lot of damage because of that. Now I'm expecting us to go to the right and get out of this, and it's not really what happens. So Gary's pulling back, so I'm going over here. I'm gonna try and breach in their path is kind of what's happening. This is a preemptive breach. I'm not a big fan of that, but that's what I'm doing. Because I do know they are gonna push. Like I said, we've been fighting them all night, and they are super aggressive, and they're getting in on top of us. So I know they're going to do this, and so this is actually a pretty good move. I do it a little early, but then again, I'm also a little scared of them tonight. So, and also if you look at where I was moving to, this is kind of right up against the wall, so the breach is going to be hitting the wall. And it's also bearing it in a lot of their own damage and our own damage and stuff like that. So they're probably not going to see it. The problem with preempting is if they're way out here, they're not going to get to it before. They're barely going to clip any of it, and even this one's not really going to do much. And B, like they can just stop. Like you can see one of these on the ground, right? So, and commanders can see it, and all they have to do is just stop and wait 5 seconds, or just move around for 5 seconds and then charge us again. And you will see commanders doing that, and that's because they're avoiding wells or they're avoiding breaches or whatever. But I am trying to get this wall right up to the wall and in our damage and in red and stuff like that in circles, so they can't quite see it as much. And that's the idea. And they are going to push right onto it. So it was good. I just didn't really execute it too well. Good call, and then breaches are called, so we're going to do that. I'm getting out of their bubble. I'm getting out of their damage. It's really not so much the bubble as their damage in general. I'm coming over here to where the circles are kind of crisscrossing and it's semi-safe. Cloud's clearly right underneath me too. Gary has gone across. Pretty much. What can you do? We do have 2 good bubbles here, so we're going to cross over that. You can see I'm dodging through, weapon swapping. Again, pretty much right on tag, getting into range. This is fine for now. You can see I've been doing barriers and all the usual shit. This is a regroup spot, so, good place for that. This is Trail of Anguish offensive. They're pushing us. I know it. I am dodging out, and I do this sort of double dodge thing a lot, where I do it in kind of a V pattern, a V shape. You'll see that again in another video in a minute. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go across and get over here. I want to get over here. Gary's moving over here. I want to get over here. I want to get off this wall. And these guys are going to push right through this. This is completely offensive Trail of Anguish. To some degree, I know it's going to hit our own people as they're crossing through here. And so it's certainly aware that I'm getting help to the people, but this is really just all offense. This is about stripping them as they come at us. And as you can see, it does its job. Turn and fight. Gary gets, I think, knocked back. I think his firebrand's dead at this point. And as you can see, most of the squad's dead. There's already a bunch of people back at spawn. So he's getting knocked around. I'm still, though, trying to stay in good positions. Here's inside a bubble, behind Gary. He's going to move. I might have been thinking about rezzing, but now I'm giving up because I'm off tag. Although there's really not much point. I mean, this is over. back, and now he's moving off, so I'm gonna go back this way, or try to get to him. At the moment, I've got stab. I don't know if I get stripped or something. I think I did, and it just, or maybe it wore off. Anyway, it just goes away. And here is what a line of warding looks like. And if you bump into this, you're going to get knocked down, which is exactly what's going to happen because I don't realize I don't stab. So bang, I get knocked down. Now I'm in trouble. I am stunned, and you know, like I guess I just got to wait out the stun, right? But I am standing. Somebody threw a Rhodes in a very nice spot here, and I'm picking up some stab from that. So I'm or stab from that. So I'm gonna be able to get across this now. I'm gonna dodge through, and then double dodge. Perfect. That's exactly what you want to do. I'm about to get a weapon swap, so I'm gonna be able to get over pretty soon. Although I may not, just because I'm staying at range. I do. Okay, that's just to be able to be safe. And I'm dodging out of that damage. As you can see, what happened is, and that was part of why I swapped, no doubt, was to get the hell out. So what's happening here now is there's really a handful of people left. A minute ago, anyway, there was Sharky around here who has bailed. Marky was back here. I think Clamor was over here. So there are a few of us still alive, still fighting, but we're all... And of course, there's a Bliss guy like right here, I think. And there's some Bliss people around. Another one down here. And I think, so like we're the only cluster of living souls around, and Void is definitely about to turn and start hitting us, which is exactly what happens here with the, you can see a Sword of Justice going out, and this might be an enemy one too, though maybe it's friendly, I don't know. Anyway, Gary's gonna get clipped by this symbol, and this, and whatever all this is, and certainly the Sword of Justice that's about to spin around and nail him, and he's gonna get a bunch of stacks of them and get hit, and he's that's it. So, at this point, so, you know, I don't bother running away. My attitude on this is two things. One, I want to make them respect me. I want them to see that I want to make it as hard for them to kill me as possible at all times. I definitely want that. I want them going, hey, you know, they got some good players over there, blah, blah, blah. I want them to have some respect for us and whatever team I'm playing on, and that's absolutely the case. And you do that by making it hard to die. But at the same time, I don't want to run away. like, I have no intention of going anywhere. I'm here to suicide. This has been a suicide mission for a while now. You know, once we started losing everybody, you know, and it was kind of a semi-foregone conclusion. I mean, we had won some of these fights, but for the most part, we were losing them. So, like, I know this is a suicide thing, and I don't care. I would much rather let them kill me, get the hell back to spawn, and get going than try and run away for 5 minutes while these guys chase me down on a Scourge, which is never going to fucking happen, right? I'm never going to get away from them. So, and even if I'm on a faster class, I just do not care about running. Give them the bag. They won. Give them the bag. Let's get on to the next fight, right? So, you know, I hate running away. Most of the time I'll just turn and fight anyway. You know, even when it's our group still together and there's 8 of us or whatever, a lot of times I'll turn and fight just to keep them from picking off the tail, and I don't care that I die, right? Like, and that's my attitude. I'd rather just get it over with and regroup. So, at this point, that said, I don't want to give them an easy kill. So at this point, Gary's probably thinking the exact same thing. Hurry up and kill me so I can get the hell back to spawn and we can come in for the next fight, right? So, but I don't want to make it easy, and because I think it's funny as hell, I'm going to come over here and try and res him probably, or certainly I am thinking about it. And notice though, I am walking around the red circles, I'm not walking through them. You know, kind of call it delicate movement, I suppose. And in a second, I'm going to come right here in between these. I certainly was thinking about resing him just because I think it's funny. So, commanders, if you ever see me resing you or whatever, it's not because I don't know that there's no point in resing you. It's because I think it's funny because there is no point in resing you. So, anyway, and I know you want to get back to... So, maybe I'm trolling you a little bit because I know you want to get back to spawn too. Anyway, what else am I going to do, though? Like, I'm literally... Like, I'm not going to run away. Like, I'm not going that way. I'm not going that way, and I sure as hell ain't going that way, and there's a wall behind me. Like, where the hell am I going, right? So, I'm going to stay on tag. I mean, if I'm going to keep fighting, I'm going to stand, you know, near tag, because that's just what I do. So, here I am, getting over here. I'm still throwing damage just for, again, make them respect me. And just trying to stay alive, and again, getting out of circles, and then I'm going to dodge over here to Gary to maybe try and res him again, but no, now they're finally going to nail me, and that's going to be it. And dead on tag. That's movement. Alright. Sorry, I chose that clip partially because I think it's funny. I do that on occasion. Sometimes I don't bother, but sometimes I do it for fun. Okay, so remember me talking about C when people are throwing wells in unison? Well, me and Lilith are going to be doing that all night. Sorry I misspelled your name, by the way, Lilith. There are other, of course, people who are doing the same thing, but it's very, very apparent with me and Lilith. I think probably we might have had a slightly different rotation. She might have been starting with Devouring Darkness, or maybe she was on Dagger 5 doing that, or maybe even Scepter 2. Different guilds have different things, and some people learn it different ways. There are different ways of doing this, and there are arguments to be made, and I'm not even I don't even have a real problem with doing some of these other ways. But for now, anyway, this is the rotation I've been teaching you guys, and this is pretty much what I'm using most of the time. So we're going in, and I'm going to do wells. We're all going to do wells together, or at least me and Lilith are. And as you can see, it's not really prime placement. We can't really get close enough. This is Nick at night. He's got like 70 people on him. He's got a sidecar. We've got a sidecar. They're keeping each other busy. Good job, Salt. I'm going to, and like they're just huge, and we're still fighting 60 to our 30. So like this is get in, do a hit, and then get the hell out. So it's going to be the two wells into Devouring Darkness, and because there's no point in getting close, I can't do Torch 4, and I can't weapon swap and do Axe 3, so I'm going to throw the Scepter 2 after that for the cripple. And that's pretty much all she wrote on that. But as you can see, I got out a little ahead of Lilith, but she is going to pulse up, and you can see, and if I'd slow down, and you'd see the pulsing, but hers are going to pulse, and mine's still doing a little. And now she's pulsed up right to where I am, and our damage ends up in perfect synchrony too. And this goes on all night. Let me fast forward a little. So, repositioning, gonna come back in, res. We don't have wells yet, but they're gonna be up soon. We're gonna move in and do an attack anyway. And here comes Nick at night being Nick, and he's going to do a double portal bomb, and I think we just got on the map, so no one was really ready for this. Certainly I wasn't, and I wasn't expecting this, and yeah. They're right behind us. Boom, they're hitting us. Okay, this sucks. I'm melting, and I'm going to stun break and get the fuck out, and that's all I'm really doing at this point. And then I'm going to go immediately into heals. That's fine. I probably should have double dodged, but this actually worked out fine. A lot of times it's kind of better to help your team if you don't double dodge out that much. There's really not much going on here other than this meteor shower. I know I was aware of that at the time, but if I'm getting hit by a meteor shower, I'm dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. And he's calling Wells and Breach, and I definitely want to get Wells in here as soon as possible. This is the right call. You can't really do anything else except just drop everything in a situation like this. So, I mean, you can kind of space it out, but really, certainly at the minimum, it's Wells. So we're going to well into this, and he's calling Breach too, so I'm going to walk over here and try and get a Breach. And this is all because I pretty much think I'm dead, and I'm just trying to get shit out before I die. As it turns out, I'm in a good, oddly enough, I'm in a pretty good position because these guys are not focused on me. They are focused on the body, our main body, which is really over here. And we're all focused on that. We're basically in Chinese GVG position with them and them. But really, the commander's off tag. The commander's over here did what I did because we both reacted wrong, late, and everybody else did not follow the commander because they probably reacted early, and they saw what was happening first. And so they're all in probably the proper position, and it's really me and Dark that are out. So off tag. And anyway, I'm going to try and breach here, and I'm going to try and clip this, but there's no way I can go in with this breach, right? I have no health, I have no stun break, I've got no support around me, really. I mean, I might, but it's most likely not my party, and I'm pretty positive it's not. So I'm going over here and just kind of edging up to these circles, and I'm going to try and clip this portal in case anybody tries to come in still or try and escape out. So try and get a breach in on that, and that's about as best I can do. I don't really care. I assume I'm going to die anyway, and I can't really do anything. But here's the important thing: Lilith on the other side of the Zerg is doing the exact same thing, bombing in with wells. They were called. She's probably dropping a breach right here, which on the edge, which is going to clip all these guys and push them away from our squad. we're basically doing the exact same thing from different directions. I try and get a Devouring Darkness in there. It does not work. I try and get a Harrowing Wave. This is because of the skill lag that's going to go on. You're going to see all the shit flashing in a second. And I'm going to dodge out, I think, first. Because I've done the major shit, and now it's like, okay, now it's time to survive, right? I thought I was dead, but hey, maybe I'm going to make it. And so I've done the major shit, then I'm going to, my real job, and, if I die, I die. And then I'm going to back out, and I'm going to try this other stuff. But watch as our damage ends up in the same spot, and watch as, even though she's out ahead of me on this, because she was probably seconds ahead of me on the reaction, and she got the hell out, and me and Dark didn't react fast enough, and we ended up in the wrong spot. And, but now mine are coming in, and they're going to be hitting pretty much the exact same spot. We're both doing the same thing. We are both doing our jobs, and you can see the pulses go up and up and up, and I'm going to catch up to her now as my wells finish up, and her wells had already finished, and she's probably throwing weapon skills on top, and I can't really do it because they go on skill lag, and that's that. So now I'm going to fast forward a little more because I don't want to waste any more time than necessary. We're going to stealth in, we're going to come in, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Open from stealth with wells. I'm going to pause a second for this test of faith, and then here comes the wells. You're going to see the numbers pulse up, pulsing, pulsing, pulsing. Both of us are in sync. Followed, of course, by this, and again, no point in going to Axe because we are not close enough, and no point of Torch 4. So I do the Grasping Dead in after that, and now this is actually a good place to be doing Shades because I can't do anything with that, anything else really. And there you are. This actually would not be a bad time to do Barrier, but I don't. They are now going to turn around on us, and this is all going to go to shit. Which I guess is expected, but look at this. I mean, it's 105, 104. I mean, it's just dead on, right? Like, and this is going to happen all night long with Lilith. Good job, Lilith. You can be my wingman anytime. Or me yours. We are definitely just nailing this shit all night long. In sync. The only time any of us pull ahead is when like one of us gets a particularly good Ghastly Breach or Trail. But pretty much this is fight after fight, one after another. This is 3 in a row, and we both end up dead on. And that is almost exactly what you want to see, and this is exactly what people are looking for when they're looking for good Scourge players who are playing as a team. This is it right here, in sequence, in tandem, everything dropping for the spikes stripped together. That is the idea. That is exactly how you play this. And if you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong. Quite frankly, that's it. If you're not doing it this way, you're doing it wrong. Unless, of course, the commanders are casual and they don't care, right? In which case, then just throw whatever you want. But this is really the way you play this. So, here you go. The rest of this is just survival. I'm going to dodge back. I'm going to get CC'd predictably. Because I can't dodge in. He's going in. I probably should have just come over this way, but I didn't want to accidentally dodge inside. So I dodged back first, and now I don't have another dodge, so I'm going to get CC'd. Typical. I'm going to stun break, which is going to help the party get in, and of course get me out. And I'm going to immediately barrier, which is the right move, but it doesn't go off until we get inside. And there you go. That's the wrap up on that. Alright. This one's important to look at. It shows the absolute power of what a Breach can do and what a Trail of Anguish can do. It really matters. I'm going to forego all the positioning thing, but you can see I'm getting ahead of the commander here. Oops. Sorry, I can't find my mouse. There it is. Anyway, don't worry about that. I've already covered positioning enough. You can see I'm going to get right on top of him, and then we're going to move out, and I'm going to be about 300 behind. What's about to happen here is that there's going to be a completely scuffed well call. So the wells aren't going to count for much. But I am going to show you the positioning on the wells, because this is exactly what you should be doing. And then after that, we're going to talk about what these two things can do, okay? So there's kind of 2 parts of this that I'm going to focus in on pretty close, and down to kind of the second and millisecond, because you're going to see something that's really going to demonstrate 2 very important factors on this. So, and yeah, positioning. But what's going to happen here is somebody's going to talk in the middle of the well call. I don't remember. Anyway, I don't remember what was said, but it's going to just throw Cloud right off. He's going to be doing a 3-2 wells out, and it's going to go like that. Like there's a pause there, and it's such a pause because he's processing what he heard or whatever. And this is why you don't interrupt shit like this with talking. it's gonna completely scuff this well call. This well call is gonna get 2 people instead of possibly a hell of a lot more. I don't even have this thing targeting out there when he calls it because I think it's gonna be paused. Cloud on his part probably should have just not continued with it and waited and kind of reset and do it again. But you know, he chose to go through it. They were stacked up where he was calling it, so like it's questionable. But the problem was we lost the number countdown, so I don't have a target. It's kind of a very, very fast throw. If I had, I might have gotten a slightly better positioning on that first well. So anyway, here we go. They're going to group up. This is Burr. We had been fighting them a lot this night, and they had been kicking our ass pretty good. Repeatedly, although we certainly get the better of them in another fight that I'm going to show you later on. A lot of these clips are all from the same night. And you can tell when I'm running the torch, I was running the torch the same night. This is just like 2 nights ago or something like that. Alright, so he's calling wells right now. He's got a marker up. I'm a little surprised by it, so I'm now going to be trying to get that well in there. I'm gonna step through this, and I'm probably gonna have to restart the clip after I do this, but because I don't know why, but this after I do this little pause thing, it doesn't unpause. Anyway, this frame by frame. So here I am dropping this on marker, pretty much dead on, right in the circle. They are right here, and they are all already starting to move to the left through a veil, I believe, as you can see. So, first well, dead on, right on the group. But they are moving. You can see the numbers from Well of Corruption start to hit. And now I am targeting Well of Suffering right here. And the reason I'm doing this, and I talked about this in the other video, is I want to hit these guys. I want both wells overlapping on these first guys. These guys I'm leading because they are all running this way, but I'm not going to lead way the hell over here. He's throwing a marker over here, but that's not where you want it. I think he might be calling they're going this way or whatever. Doesn't matter. You want the wells in tandem, in coordination, on a location in order to clip these guys who just lost their stab. And this is how you catch people and get them killed, and this is how you get all the strips in one spot, along with pulsing damage and all the rest of it, that you can kind of just set it and forget it and walk away, and these things might just damn kill somebody on their own, which is kind of, I think, what's going to happen here. We definitely get one guy anyway, but because this is a scuffed well call, I have a feeling other people were going elsewhere with it, and it doesn't really have the effect we really want, but you're going to see this is the location I'm putting, because I'm catching these guys as they run, but I'm also making sure to still clip the original group that are actually getting hit, and you can tell because the numbers are going off. So, as you can see, I think it's just one guy now caught in this, and that's kind of how she goes. Oh, it looks like I am going to get to continue. Nope, it's going to freeze up. Okay. I don't know, man. I think I need a new version of VLC Media Player here. Anyway, sorry about that. Oh, shit. Here we go. Okay, so here it is again. We're going to get up to this point. We're going to do the wells. The wells are really just not going to do much. So here's one. Here's the other. And you can see other people are doing the right thing, too. They're throwing wells on that. We are going to... and then at this point, like, I'm going to throw in a Devouring Darkness because that's the right thing. I'm definitely positioning for that. But I'm definitely getting... I'm in a bad spot. Like, I should have probably moved first. But this is going to work out. So here you can see the wells are clipping somebody back here, and we've got a down, and it's done some job. We've got another down over here who was one of the guys that was moving, it looks like. And anyway, so from here on out, I was at 17 a second ago, but I've already started this Trail of Anguish. I've already gone too fast, right? So what's going to happen here is I'm going to go from 17 to 81 in a matter of like 2 or 3 seconds on the strip chart. This is a strip spike, and it is going to show you both the power of this and this. And really, you don't want to use these in tandem, but I'm pretty sure he's calling breach at this point. And I'm using this first really because I'm in danger. These guys are crossing me to get to the rest of the squad. I'm really not in the best spot. I really should be over here somewhere, and ideally over here. But we have moved in this direction, and this is how the movement is going, and this is just where I got caught. I was busy working on this, and it kind of left me in a vulnerable spot. That said, I don't think I would have ever traded that. That was probably the right thing to do, and it's gonna work out. Like I said, this is reaction time. This is just get the hell out. But at this point, it's definitely get the hell out. I am dodging to this safe spot, and I am dropping Trail of Anguish because it's gonna help the people, my party, anybody else doing the same thing, because it's a stun break. I'm not even waiting for the stun. It's gonna give me stab. I don't know if I have stab. I don't have time to look. And these guys are coming right across it as well, so it is totally going to do everything you can possibly hope to get out of this. Keep me alive, do support with stab and swiftness and whatnot, and absolutely these guys are going to cross right through it. I know this, that's part of why I'm doing it, and this is going to strip the shit out of them. Just this one. I'm also going to, and basically I'm going to get to the safe spot, which I can tell is safe, right? Like I can see that there's perfectly safe, so I'm going to do a single dodge, and I'm going to bury her immediately, and that's to get all my party or people around me the same thing. It's a regroup scenario. I'm going to do that, plus I am definitely taking damage as well, so it's the whole shebang. This is exactly how you play this, and you're going to see me do this. And as you do this, starting from 17, if I had paused sooner, you would have seen, after the Devouring Darkness, it was 17. You've got a well ticking over here off to the side, again, but it's only picking up like one at a time. So that's negligible. You don't really need to worry about. This is going to pick up like 4 or 5 strips right here, and you will see a tick when this finally fires, an uptick. But really, what's happening right now is Trail of Anguish. I'm now queuing this. 32 hasn't gone off yet. I'm going to queue this right behind. You can see that. I'm going to start turning my camera. This is still not gone off. This is all Trail of Anguish still. There it goes now. I think if you could read that, it's like 37. I'm going to pick up an uptick from that, but it's still Trail of Anguish largely. Look at this go, up to 47. They are all just crossing right over it, and as you can see, there's still a well ticking over here, right? So this did its job, right? It looks like there might be 2 downs over here. So, like, the wells got somebody, right? So this is good. We would have preferred more, but 2 will do. That's the scuffed well call. That's what happens. What can you do? You can still see wells active over here. Okay, so into breach, back to strips. Breach still hasn't gone off. We're at 49. It's about to finish, though. Boom, there it goes. And now you're going to start seeing the ticks from that going up. Trail is still active. Anybody still crossing that is going to get it, although I think they're largely through it. And these guys, Burr has chosen to walk basically right where I went because of the exact same reason I went there. It was safe. There was nothing there. They had been pushing this way, and then they changed direction and come right here. These guys move quick, and they do a good job of that, and they go to the nice, safe little location where there was no damage whatsoever. All the damage is all through here. So they've just moved to the side of it, sidestepped that, and they are going to start bombing into us. But what they don't realize is that I have just dropped a perfect breach right into their path, and they're not paying attention to that, or they just don't care about the one breach. So this is going to just strip shit out of them, but it really doesn't matter because we're going to lose this. So I'm going to throw a shade at my feet now right after that, and then I'm going to bomb this. I did not have the trait active that did this strip from this, so you're not picking this up from this. This is really all this and this, but there will be like four strips maximum, probably all 4 from this as well, so there's a slight uptick from that. But here, watch the breach. This is really breach right here. I haven't gotten to the shade yet. Still ticking up. I'm going to now get to this, so you're going to see a quick burst of that. 3, it looks like, maybe. And the rest of this is all just breach, ticking up. Turning around, going at them, but now I'm in a enemy bubble. Warrior Dome, the other Warrior Dome's over here, our Warrior Dome is over here, and you can see somebody else breached, so Dark probably did call breaches, and someone else breached, and they were on the other side. This was not a bad breach in any sort of way. This was a good placement, really. Maybe a little closer, but they were coming right at us, so I'm not surprised that they just breached where they were. This might have been Dan. This is absolutely, like, it's just by dint of the fact that they changed direction and went to where I was going, and I really only went there because I was trying to survive, and clipped the edge of them with my breach that they walked into mine, and so mine got all the strips and, you know, Dan's didn't. So, but really, if I had been standing over here in better position in the first place, I might have done the exact same thing. So, this is not at all in any sort of way wrong. It's just mine got lucky and theirs didn't. I just happened to be right where these guys walked. So, but it does show you, and this is not done yet, the absolute power of these two skills, including Trail of Anguish, to just strip like a motherfucker. And this was all of a couple seconds, guys. Like, this is all of a couple seconds. Let's go back to it full speed, right? That's a huge spike strip, almost entirely focused in one location. If we had been able to focus damage on that, that probably would have killed some people. So, but they got the better of us, and again, like, the well call was off to begin with. So here's Wells, survival, trail, and immediately into this other stuff. Down, shades, get the fuck out. It's that fast. Anyone strips. Speaking of spikes, this is we were GVGing with Aura. We had been doing a lot of open field stuff, and then they were like, "Hey, come on, let's go do this," and they wanted to do it, and hats off to them. They were very much outmatched on this one, and this is 15, so this is not a full squad. Most of our squad's over here watching. This is definitely 15s, but we do have an extra couple people, but I don't think it really matters. I don't know if their comp was messed up or what, but and certainly they were just wanting to practice. So we were giving them plenty of practice, and in this case, this is the third fight in a row for me. I'm about to have to go sit out after this, and I'm just getting super aggressive at this point because I'm really not too scared of them. And you're going to see that happen. This is really not the way to play this class. You really shouldn't be doing this, but it does show what it can do if you want. And in some scenarios, that's exactly what you should do. So, also, heads up, I do have the trait where, sorry, I'm on the wrong thing. I do not have the might trait going for this, and but I do have the one close to death, I think it is, that where they're under 50% health, they're going to take 20% more damage, which I think is going to come into play here for sure. Which is why you're going to see a lot of this, but it, you know, like, you'll see it. Doesn't mean it's not. Anyway, it doesn't negate what's about to happen here. So, he's gonna do stealth. We've been repositioning, whatever. He's gonna stealth here on the move, and we're gonna cut left, and Aura is gonna cut around this way, and Aura's just gonna get caught right here. I mean, it's just what's about to happen. And we're gonna open with Wells. He's gonna call it. I'm gonna do Devouring Darkness just like I should. And we're pretty much just going to nail them with this hard. We've got 3 wells going off in sync. Julie and Lilith are both doing the exact same thing. So this is really a wells that's really tearing these guys up, not to mention everybody else, all the other DPSers. This is definitely doing what it's supposed to do. This is coordinated wells, really nailing them. And then I go off book after this Devouring Darkness. Because, like I said, we've really just been doing this. Like, we're really tearing these guys up. But hats off to them for wanting to practice and keep going. Here we go. I'm going to get super aggressive at this point. I do not think Dark Cloud called for the breach. I don't remember. Certainly the other Scourges did not. So, or at least it doesn't look like it. I suppose I could go back and listen, but I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. I would not recommend doing it this way anyway. These are really separate attacks. You should be using them as separate attacks, all 3 of these. And like, for the ability of each one of those to strip a spike, you know, to do a spike strip. that's why you kind of want to separate these out, because if they, the group that gets out of it, then you want to go spike the next group that, the next time we engage, and then you want to spike the next time when we engage, and that's really how you're supposed to be playing this class. But this is 15s, and I can already tell they're down, and I don't know if he called for breach, but certainly I'm going to go, it's not really the right call if he did, and I'm going to go in and hit them with this. That said, like, he's probably thinking, if he did, it was thinking the same thing as me, which is, we're just gonna slaughter them here. So, and that's what I do. I get super aggressive. Like I said, third fight, so this is my last one. So I really just nail this, and I'm really trying to test out Torch, and I wanted to show what Torch can do. So I'm trying to get some footage for that. And anyway, and that's really what I'm trying to set up here, which is exactly what's going to happen. So it does highlight Torch pretty good. So here's the breach right on it. I'm going to move out in forward for that a little bit to try and clip the guys that are still standing already. So here I am moving forward. And now I'm going to do, well, he's pulling back, so I don't know if I was being aggressive with this or not, but this might have been just me just trying to get back to Commander, but I realized then maybe around this time after I hit this Trail of Anguish that, like, these guys are all down. So I'm going to now use it aggressively in an offensive way for sure, even if my initial reason that my instinct to touch it was to get back. Now I'm definitely going for offense with it. And I'm going to curve out here into these guys intentionally with the trail to lead it right through them. Sorry for the glitchiness. And you can just see this. Going to hit them all. And I'm going to even curve in. I'm going to ignore this guy. Really, I want to get back to tag. This is not where I should be, but this is overly aggressive. I normally would not do this in any kind of real scenario, but again, these guys are all down and it's 15s, right? So I'm going to curve back around, and I'm trying to get back over here because this is a tag, and there are still living people back here, a couple of them. So I'm thinking, or back over this way, I should say. And I'm trying to kind of line up now the Harrowing Wave, which is really what I've been after this whole time, but I stopped the rotation to go mess with this, and then into this, and then, which really, this is way overkill. This is totally not necessary, but it does show you what it, and you're going to see it in the numbers, what it can do. And now I'm going to get an excellent Harrowing Wave right into him, bam. Moving around to make that positioning happening, and, it definitely hits. And now I see, and normally the rotation would be back into, over to Axe, but, like, I see that, like, there's people trying to get away, so I do a Grasping Dead to try and cripple him, which totally whiffs. I don't really get it. I think I was aiming for that guy, but I can't really tell where I was aiming. But now I'm continuing the rotation, swap 3, and then I'm going to target, and I've got this guy targeted who's got a lot of health left, and I'm going to Axe to him. For 10.1 at the end there. Probably trying to get a little bag at the very end there, but I give up. I get nice and let him res easy. As you can see, this is, they were in sync with their wells. I was too. I mean, I didn't do anything wrong with that, but then I just kind of go overkill. There's only so many boons to strip, so this is why this kind of capped out where it is. But I had that uptick because I certainly had 2 very high strip skills, and I probably picked up all of them, whereas they didn't. And even if a breach was called, but probably not, this looks, 28 and 27 is about right for Wells, and then, like, I guess, Devouring Darkness or whatever. So, they probably did what was right. I got super aggressive, and so I picked up the rest of the strips on that. It's kind of like cleanses. There's only so many cleanses to go around, right? Like, sometimes, well, it's exactly true, but anyway, like, you certainly do see, if one person's slacking, then the other person's getting tons and tons more strips. It's because the one person's slacking, right? But that's not the case here. These guys did what they were supposed to do, and I'm definitely the one who didn't. But, like, you're going to see the result here. Again, I was trying to get a good Harrowing Wave, and I was trying to test and trying to show, like, max damage and yada yada, which this really isn't it. If this had been Power Might on this, you would have seen this go up into the 30s for sure. What you're looking at here, this is probably Wells coming out and starting to hit, and along with the breach, some trail time, and then you're seeing the Harrowing Wave spike this up nice and good for another 8k damage per second. This is overall DPS up here. So damage per second spike, not total damage. Total damage was up here at 161k. And you are looking at, this is the breakdown. Well, this is pretty common actually. Well of Suffering, Ghastly Breach, high numbers for total overall damage, as you can see, and obviously very high damage per second ticks here. This is why these are really used best separately. The wells are good enough to really be killing people, along with other stuff like Devouring Darkness and whatnot. You don't need the breach on top of the wells at all. You do it kind of in desperate circumstances when you're about to die. You'd throw all three, and in this case, because I was just being super aggressive on it. But really, that's not the right call at all. You want to separate these because these are separately good attacks. Particularly if you have, 3 or 6 Scourges all doing the exact same thing. A breach by itself should handle quite a lot. Should definitely catch some people and definitely kill some people. And the same story with Wells. So here you go, and then the Harrowing Wave obviously did quite a bit of damage. Well of Corruption did quite a bit of damage. So you can see, the 2 Wells together are really quite good. And then Harrowing Wave by itself, pretty good. Adds this nice little spike at the top. Claws here was that 10.1 hit on Claws, so you only see 1 a cast of that, and it's right here. And then you see Unholy Feast and Unholy Burst. I wasn't really right on top of them when I did this. I only caught a couple of them, and so they both did about the same amount of damage. And then, Trail Anguish, negligible damage. Nobody really cares. Devouring Darkness did some damage, but really it's about the strips. And then there's some Torment and no doubt some burning and stuff like that down at the bottom here that you don't see. Anyway, that's the breakdown. That's how this works. And don't let anyone tell you can't DPS, or don't ever say, oh yes, they're terrible DPS classes. That is absolutely not true. When you trait right and you play it right, you can do huge spikes of damage. And like I said, if I had been on the might trait that night, testing that too, this would have been higher. Like, this would have gone higher. It would have been over 30 for sure. So it's an extra 250 power, right? So, anyway, this is what you can do. But that's not really the right play. Don't do it that way. Okay, one more real breakdown. After that, I'm going to do quicker ones. This one is going to give you some examples of how terrible things can go. As you can see, Burr got the best of us on this for sure. They did an awesome move. They came across. They threw a veil out and then immediately cut south. However, if you watch that, there is some guy who attacks first, and I'm going to point this out just because it should be pointed out. If you attack first while everybody is in stealth, you give away your position, and that is exactly what's about to happen here. He's coming this way, and look at this. We've got a guy telegraphing exactly where they are. They look like they did this, and we're going this way, and instead they cut south directly at us, and this guy is giving it away. Good job, buddy. Why? Because he hit somebody, no doubt. He went through the veil, but then he hit somebody. So he attacked early, and it just telegraphs this whole thing, which means we're going to kind of start changing where we're going on the well call. Otherwise, the wells all would have whiffed pretty much back here, which is where the call was. And as you can see, my second one, I'm positioning a little forward because I can already tell we've pretty well lost that. These guys definitely got the better of us on that. So good job, Burr. That was a nice move. Scold your person because they suck. Next up, I'm going to get off tag a little. I'm going to show you that. So that's positioning shit. I've already talked about that. You can see standing in roads around the 2 circles, literally right in kind of the point where they merge. Stay as close as possible, but at the same time, still basically in the same arc of distance as the commander. I'm probably a little too far forward, and I'm gonna pay for it here in a second. But I'm really just kind of, staying in the roads and stuff like that. You can see me, I kind of adjust backward a little. And now I'm going to be wanting to get back to tag and support, especially once I start taking damage, which I am. But I already started moving. I already started to get back. Problem was actually when I got back, that's when all this damage starts raining down on us. And so I got back at just the wrong moment. And now I'm going to be eating all sorts of damage. And if I go really, really slow, I might catch it. I think I get down to 5 health. But what you're seeing here is a V-shaped dodge. I told you there's another video that had that. I'm dodging out because I do not care at all where the hell I go. This is just the direction I ended up heading. And then I'm going to dodge right back on the second dodge to get to where I want to go, which is back this way. Ideally, I probably should have gone this way to try and get around this red, but I don't. I'm really just panicked. And Trail of Anguish to make sure I get the hell out of there. And as you can see, here's the second dodge going forward. And like I said, I'm about to really dip. But I'm already going into barrier. This is the right time. It's back to group. He's already moving, though. He's heading my direction where I just was, and I've dodged basically in the opposite direction. But that's fine, because now I'm back with my supports, and this is going to start maybe healing me. You can see this. There it is. 5 health. Look at that. But the barrier's coming off at just a half a second later. Man, was that close. This is an argument for Marauder's gear, by the way. And again, this is gonna happen again. I'm gonna end up down at like 511, something like that. Yeah, and there it is. So you can see what I'm doing. I don't care about the Trail of Anguish as offense, but they are gonna walk through it a bit. This is really about survival at this point, and I pretty much am assuming I'm dead. I know I spiked down twice really, really low, and I'm low right now. And even though I'm in pretty decent position, these guys are gonna probably attack us any second. They've been kind of pretty much staying on us and coming into us really hard on many, many occasions, as you saw right off the bat. And then and they'll stop and regroup, and then they'll do it again. This is really good commanding, by the way. I like the way this. I like this kind of movement from commanders. It's not that other ways aren't bad, but are bad or whatever. But this, I like this. This is fun for me. I really enjoy that. Anyway, they're doing it, and here's this me throwing breach out because I think I'm dead. Like, this is literally, I don't know if I'm going to hit anybody. I'm not really trying to get a good one. Positioning at this point isn't nothing to do with this. It's all about just trying to stay alive a little bit. So you can see, I'm just doing everything I can. And just throwing this out because I assume it's over and I might as well get it on the field and do something for the squad before I die, right? So that's that. But I am managing to get back to position. I start picking up heals. And I am now on the opposite side of the commander. Here's the enemy. I'm pretty sure they're going to come around this way because this is kind of the loop we were just making. We're going to kind of circle each other, right? So they call it toilet bowling, that sort of thing. We're not doing it super hard, but, super hard is really, really in close. But this is nonetheless kind of the pattern here emerging, and typical of general fights anyway. So I'm staying on the left because I want to be on the opposite side of the commander from where they're coming, which is going to be over here. And then that gives me this line to attack on. But even now, I'm still going to be throwing damage out there because I'm just trying to get anything on the field I can, do anything I can. I think I'm going to throw a shade out here right now. Yeah. Devouring Darkness, whatever. Like, I'm going to blow shades because I'm just trying to just get anything. And, I've got 3 shades on the field, but they don't really pick anything up. They're all over here pretty much. So they do a little something, but not much. But again, this is just desperation. Just try and help out the squad before I die, right? But at this point, now I'm starting to get health, starting to get heals. This just gave me barriers. Part of blowing that shades might have been just, hey, this is going to give me some barrier and keep me alive for a second. Probably not. I use those almost entirely offensively, except for this one. And when I'm doing the bomb, it's more about trying to hit people. But again, didn't really do much. And now I'm off tag again because he's pulling back, so I'm going to dodge out any second now. There I go. And I'm going to get right back behind him, and then I'm going to move up a little to do this. So what's going on is, I probably should have paused a second back, but this is, in fact, I'm going back. Deal with it. Sorry. So this is absolutely part of your job. This is what I keep saying. It is your job to kill downs, and you're going to see them around. So here's one in front of me. Here's one that I'm targeting right now, this Rev at feet. There's this guy over here. There's this Tempest in front of me, and then there's guy over here. We've got 4 downs on the field, and I think there's another one back here somewhere, but he's going to get rezzed or something. And anyway, Mist is over here. They're going to take care of this guy, and he's too far for us anyway. That's 1,200 or 1,500. That's not our job. This one absolutely is Scourge job. This is definitely Scourge material right here. This, not so much. This is... So the breakdown on this is like this. Pretty much Revs don't have the ability to really do range into a down. They have a hammer auto. They obviously have like roads and all these other big hits, but when it comes to like finishing downs, it's really just going to be auto attack for the most part. And or cleave with swords in close. Same thing with berserkers and spellbreakers. They are melee, they have swords, they can take care of this guy. This is not our job as Scourges, right? This is not a target to be really focused on, and I'm going to switch to this guy in a second. At range, this is not so much good for heralds. This one is though. The dragon hunters definitely have the ability to do it, but there's some limitations to that. Their autos aren't good at it. It's more a matter of casting like Swords of Justice and things like that, but they only have so many charges of that. You can obviously throw more damage onto it, like with symbols and stuff like that. And it'll pulse and it'll finish them, and a Sword of Justice plus a symbol will definitely finish somebody. But it's not always the best thing, and they might really want to be focused on the major group, so they're not going to do that. Not right here, probably anyway. Maybe they make that call, maybe not. It's up to them, right? And so they do have the ability to do this, and then one can block. But heralds are screwed on this because what'll happen is, and so will auto attacks for dragon hunters as well. Because what will happen is guys will throw reflect walls like right in front of this, and so then a herald's hammer that's going out to hit this guy is going to bounce right back and hit somebody else in the squad, and it does a lot of damage. And like one wall reflect or something like that is going to fling back all this damage right onto us, and you don't want to be doing that. So they'll notice that they threw this thing and it doesn't do any damage, so then they stop. So they can't really finish this without doing something major. It's kind of the same story with the dragon hunters, but Scourges can. We don't get reflected, and here's the thing about those reflex, by the way, and other kind of blocks of that nature. There's other stuff that just absorbs projectiles. Anything that's considered a projectile will die on that, just like this, or get reflected back. And this limits the ability to kill downs in some cases. And the thing is, like, I used to run wall reflect all the time on Dragon Hunter. I really did, especially when I was doing burn guard for a while. Like, it is phenomenally good, and the reason is people don't realize they're hitting it, and it's all getting reflected back on them, and they are literally killing themselves, and it can be huge, like huge damage. It is super good, and people know it these days. For a long time, that seemed to be like a secret that nobody really seemed to know, except some of the best guilds. Now it's like everybody's doing it. So there are reflex everywhere all the damn time, and one of the best places to put reflex is right on the other side, right in front of a down, because they know everybody's going to be trying to finish that down and to throw damage at them. It also gives them a clear shot to run in and res if they want to some degree. This happens all the time. I used to do it exactly that way. I would throw them right there. There were other ways to do it, but certainly like that. I would also throw them right in front of the enemy group when they were regrouping like this, where we're at, and then they wouldn't even, like they wouldn't even notice necessarily that it's literally hitting, and you can't see the projectiles, right? So anyway, this is happening all the time. But our skills are not projectiles. This might be, but I don't think so. And this definitely isn't, and this definitely isn't. So our ability to kill downs on the other side of reflect walls is unbelievably good compared to, say, a Rev's hammer or something like that. It is superior. It is the perfect opportunity, a single target, as compared to using like AoE stuff, like what would happen with a Dragon Hunters trying to do this. Certainly, I don't think that's not their job at all. I certainly think so. But, a lot of times you're kind of you only have so much that you can do, right? So you have to prioritize stuff. This is the Scourge job. Kill these downs, kill this down, don't let them get back up, otherwise we have to kill them again. So here I am backing off. I've dropped this guy because this is melee. I've switched target to this. I'm going to focus 5, going to axe 2. The focus isn't going to do much, but the axe is going to nail him. And that's it. This Tempest is finished. I'm going to do an auto. Maybe other people are doing some stuff in there, and he's done. Unfortunately, this guy over here, nobody targets him, and he gets up. See, I think this was a better Rev target because it's off, and there's unlikely to be walls of reflect. And whereas right in front of the group like that, it's a very likely reflex scenario. So this was kind of like, to me, a Rev job, and so was sort of that, but we have missed over here, and they're kind of too far away anyway. Anyway, this one was definitely Scourge material, and I went for it, and so was this, of course, but certainly this too, and I took him out, and along with other people, of course, but this is your job, and you should be doing it. We don't want to have to kill these guys twice like this is going to happen over here, because he's going to dodge the fuck out of here and go meet up with his squad. So, rest of it, I'm not going to get into rotations and all that shit. I'm very, very sloppy here. This is all a result of me almost dying in, a few seconds before, and I'm kind of off my game at this point. Try to do it 3 into this, but I'm gonna get knocked back. Curve around, dodge out, curve around, go around the damage, right? Dodge out, walk the rest of the way because I didn't need to keep dodging. So do that. Gonna barrier up here, this is support again. Barrier when we're regrouping into the 3s and maybe whatever. And then he's calling Wells, so okay. I'm gonna try and get a torch 4 probably. Looks like I interrupted it. And then I noticed that I interrupted it, so I did it again. And like I said, this is all pretty very, very sloppy, but this has a lot to do with the fact that I'm still in recovery, right? Anyway, they pretty much get crushed on this corner when we do the wells, and maybe somebody breached here or something, or back here. And anyway, that's it. We've just got them. So this fight's over, and now it's a matter of like trying to stop single targets from getting away and stuff like that. So I am gonna throw one of these in there. I don't notice that I whiff this, or I interrupt that. Which sometimes I notice, sometimes I don't, but, hey, there it is. I interrupted it. That's what you're not supposed to do. And then I'm going to swap, and I'm going to go right into 3, which is perfect, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. I thought that was kind of a 3-3. It wasn't, so okay. And now I'm going to find this Rev who just went down, and I'm probably already trying to kill him to begin with. And then I'm going to go focus 5 on him for 10.8. And then I'm going to go over to this guy because he's already gotten a decent chunk taken off of him really, really quick. Some autos as well. And obviously this fight is over, but I am going to try and find a separate target for the Axe 2. And I do. Hey, it's Fireman. Bang, bang, bang. 11.6. That's not unusual to be sitting there hitting 10Ks with these and even more. And I did not have the Might trait going, which would have given me another 250 power or something like that. So this would have been much, much more bigger. More better. Okay, rest of these are going to be a lot quicker. I said I was doing, I didn't have a video of this. This was literally last night. I didn't really want to search, but I knew this happened last night that I was kind of chasing some firebrands, and there was a point where, anyway, we got some of them. This is definitely in tandem with other people, and this is definitely not anything really special in terms of what the Scourge is doing, but it does show you me chasing them, and that I managed to get a firebrand right away as I'm welling. But here, and this does emphasize the point. Look, your job is to do the main thing, and then the killing of this guy I'm putting off until then, right? So here's this, and then I'm going into the 3 skill. I'm auto-attacking. I'm going into the 3 skill. I'm staying on tag. I'm staying behind the guy. But I still have this guy targeted, and I want to get to this axe, the combo on him. But first I'm doing my job. Bang, bang. And now I'm getting him because I have him in my sights, and I want him. So I chase him with this. It does not do much. I don't know why. And now I'm going after the Axe 2 immediately following that, which does a decent amount, and clearly other people are hitting him too, so we drop him 5 points. Of course, got to finish him, so here I am auto-attacking him, and I'm clearly focused on auto-attacking this guy, as you can see. I'm even stopping right here so I don't run past him, even though the commander has, and I'm making sure he's gone first, and so are other people, I think. Clearly there was additional damage in there. Good job, guys. And we get 5 points. So, next up. This continues. I'm going to find this here Ellie, but I can't really do a whole lot. I could have autoed him. I see. I was messing with the shades, right? So I just kind of continue with the shades. We get a decent chunk of damage on him. He's no longer really a threat and not really much damage. So I don't know if I was thinking about finishing him, but I certainly do swap targets. And here's a firebrand. At the time, I don't pay any attention to this, so I didn't know that he was just a baby colonel. And I've never seen Nad eat before either. I don't think so. This might be his own solo little guild. This might be in PvE or something. Anyway, he's got boons. He's a firebrand. I'm looking at him now. So I'm definitely looking at this as a possibility. But commander holds up here for a second, so okay. He wants to finish downs. Cool. This is the Ellie, I think, that we took down. And I'm definitely watching him, but you can see my auto attacks are out of range, so I'm kind of getting, okay, I want to get closer, but he just keeps going back, and I'm giving up on it. So I'm gonna switch back to main duties, which is 3s, bang bang. I've wasted too much time on that, just sitting there camping that, so now I'm on to 3s, back to the main duties. We get him focused a little bit. He's done. Now I'm going to look at this guy who's pretty much in my sights, and hey, it's Firebrand. I'm going to auto him, but Dark is already calling for movement, so I'm turning to watch where he wants to go, so I'm going with him and letting that guy go. And you don't see it, but then after that, we go around the corner and we kill that gnat guy. Okay, here we go. This one will be quick too. So, I don't know if you noticed there a second ago. It was a Firebrand. I had him, but he pulsed back. There's Rev. I think that was right at our feet or something like that. Anyway, I give up on him because I see this guy right here, and it turns out he's a Reaper, and he's spinning to win, no doubt, on top of our people. And we were having a bad night. We were getting crushed pretty hard, and clearly we're not doing well here. So, we're running away at this point. But I don't like running away. I'd much rather turn and fight, and I certainly would rather defend our people trying to get away. So I am going to turn and look at this guy, and I see him on top of us, and it turns out it's Reaper, and I know what that means because he is in Shroud, which means he's probably spinning to win, right? He's a Bronze Legend, so he probably hasn't learned that Reaper isn't all that great in World v. World. I know, don't get into the argument with me. It's good, I like it. It's can definitely strip like a motherfucker too if you play it right. But the problem is all its damage is based on its life force, and that is essentially a health bar as well. So if I hit him and we hit him, he stops doing any damage, and that is the downfall of Reapers. So this is an example of that. I'm actually going to go after that right now because of that, and I'm going to, I know what he's doing, and I want to stop him and get him off our people. So I'm going to focus him, and he's already down quite a bit before I hit him with this. Out of his Shroud, so he's really been spinning and other people are hitting him, and that sucks. So he got a lot of damage out, no doubt. But here's an 11.2 on him from there, which takes him all the way down here to like 60 or maybe even 50, I don't know, but this is probably combined damage with other people. Almost certainly. And now I'm going to Axe 2 him, which is going to get a good hit on him there too. And he's going to get out of my range, I think, and I'm going to switch to Shades, trying to throw, trying to fear him back in maybe or something. Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking. Because you can make them fear back into you as well as fear away from you and stuff like that, and fear away from your squad. I was too slow with it, and he definitely got away. Plus, this is AoE, and it's going to help try and fight these guys off. Anyway, he's down to 1% here, you can see, and somebody's going to get him. Some range damage, and then he's going to rally. But I did the job. I got him off our people, right? Down, but not good enough. Here's Aura fucking with us, I think just for fun. And don't worry about any of this. It's not really it's pretty ugly. I was targeting a beast there for a second. Anyway, now I get this guy. I see this guy over here. It's a Dragon Hunter. He's probably only got about 16k health total anyway. If he's on full glass, it's under 16k, right? He's got 3 boons on him, including protection. I do have this video here, and I do want to talk about it for a second, because I skipped over this in the other video. Boons are what's called Boon Strip works last in, first out. This is a computer programming term. They'll talk about it sometimes as LIFO, L-I-F-O, last in, first out. The idea is that this is the last boon in, this was the first boon in. Next, new boons that are added, like there's going to be Fury in a second, is going to be added to the end of this on this end. And then when you strip, Fury goes off first, and then this here regen or whatever that is, and then protection. And then if it were 5, it's not going to be 5, it's just going to be 3. With this, but then it would take the might last. So and then so you can strip off 3 boons, and then 2 more boons are added, and whatever, and then you can strip off 2 boons, and then 3 more are added, and the whole time might stays up. So it's the order of boons going onto you has a lot to do with how fast they get, when they get stripped, right? So and the same is true for your bar as well. So it might help to be aware with that, but really it doesn't really have much effect on how you play this class, so not really a big deal. But here we are. He's got 3 boons. No doubt I've noticed that. I've also noticed that he's a Dragon Hunter, and I no doubt have noticed that he's only got 30% health here. So this is way overkill, and no doubt this is also, even though I have 25 stacks of might, I don't have the might trait running, and I do not have the or I do have the one that's going to hit for 20% more. So a chunk of this whack is going to be from this big spike here is going to be from the fact that he's under 50% health to begin with. But again, this only highlights what this trait line does, right? So anyway, and this is essentially a hit for the same amount of health that this guy has altogether in the first place. So here we go. Even though circumstances would be better. 15.2 single hit, right? Like, that's what this thing can do, and obviously this would have been higher if I had had the might thing going, and it would have been lower if he had been full. But as you can see, the protection's gone first, and actually the protection wears off, and then he gets a third boon, the Fury comes in or whatever. So he does not have protection at this point, but I'm pretty sure also, and I'm saying, and this highlights this a little bit, I am pretty sure those boons get stripped first when this thing hits, and then the damage gets calculated. So, that boon strip happens before, so even if he had just protection there, it would have been gone, I think. I'm not entirely positive that's how that works, but somebody has definitely told me that, and maybe I tested it at some point, I don't remember. But, and you certainly can go test or go Google for that and find out exactly how that works if you really care. But I think that is how it works. So those boons get stripped, then this calculation goes out, and so you get this, so even if he had protection at that point, with that being one of them that I stripped, that doesn't save him, right? So, I think. Anyway, followed by X2, it's going to do a decent little chunk too, but whatever. Alright guys, that's it. That shows all those things. It shows you kind of that, this is a multi kind of level class. It's got the heal, it's got the aspect of throwing barrier for your party and all that stuff. It shows you kind of the movement thing. I'm giving you that, but it also, where to stand and where to position to and why. All this is giving you well placement and showing examples of that, and timing, although you're not really hearing the commander calls, but, that should be pretty obvious. It's kind of giving you the whole rundown, right? So, be aware that all these things are your job. It's not just artillery cannon. It's definitely sniping people like this and just murdering firebrands, and you should be trying to do that. It's definitely, even above that, is take out the downs, particularly at like 900 range. That is definitely your job. You should definitely be doing it, and it's a hell of a lot better to finish down than to have to kill him a second time. So don't ignore downs. This is definitely your job. And of course, all throughout that, it's artillery cannon and try and get those breaches in. Alright, that's it. Thanks, guys. Hope that helps. Good luck. Have fun.